Howdy folks, my name is ReadyOpco. Welcome back to part number 17 of Let's Play Super Mario 64. In the last part we took on course number 12 of 15. Can't believe we've already come so far. We've got 98 out of the 120 power stars, and in this part we're going to be moving in on 7 more of them here in course 13. But before I hop on into either one of these paintings, I do have to mention that both of the paintings at either end of this room will work. You can see that we've got a massive painting at the end of a very large hallway. Seriously, check out how huge this thing is. It's really cool to make it ripple by trying to jump into it like so. It's really neat. I appreciate the ripple effects on the paintings. It makes them feel like they really are portals to other worlds. The one at the end of this hallway does absolutely nothing, and the one at this hallway is where we're going to be jumping into. It's going to take us right into course number 13, Tiny Huge Island, with star number 1, Pluck the Piranha Flower.
Let's go!
So here we are, Tiny Huge Island, and true to the name, we are tiny/huge. In this instance, we are huge because we jumped into the small painting at the end of the smaller hallway, and it's going to affect the entire layout of the course. It's very similar to a wet, dry world in that way. It doesn't have anything to do with the water level in this instance, but I really appreciate that, as I was mentioning in the earlier parts, that the concepts for these stages as you go on really get more complex and much more interesting. You know, bob-omb battlefield is just a giant open field, doesn't really have too much going on, although I can imagine for a first-time 3D game player that it would have been really incredible to see that kind of level rendered in full 3D. But as you continue, you know, you got Wet Dry World and this world, Tiny Huge Island, both of which are affected depending on how you jump into their paintings, which leads to some really cool gameplay mechanics. I appreciate what they do here. As you saw earlier, I jumped into the warp pipe to make myself smaller so that we'd be able to do the actual star, pluck the piranha flowers in the huge version of the island. So, I will mention right away, before I collect the power star, that for 5 of the 6 power stars, we will be jumping in the smaller version of the painting so that we start large. I will be mentioning when we will jump into the large painting.
Here we go!
Hopping back into the leftmost painting, we've got star number 2, tip top of the huge island.
Let's go!
In most cases, oh wow, I'm having some terrible voice cracks lately. I actually tried recording this episode last night and I straight up started the episode like, howdy guys! I just couldn't deal with it anymore, and so I decided to wait till today. Hoping that it would be better, but as it turns out, apparently I'm still squeaking away. For most of these applications, it's going to be a lot better to enter the course as the larger Mario with the tiny island. It just makes traversal a lot easier. That said, I will mention that it makes dying on this course a lot easier. Since it is so much smaller in relation to yourself, it's a lot easier to go flying off the island. But if you take this really simple course, it's the best way to get to the very top of the island here. And as you can imagine in this exclamation mark box, as we've seen many times before, a handy-dandy power star.
Here we go!
On the left side for 3 out of 4 times in a row here, we've got a rematch with Koopa the Quick, which I think is actually super cool. They bring him back from bob-omb battlefield, and looks like we're going to be having another contest against him to see who is the fastest. Hopefully it is indeed Mario. He's very fast when his butt's on fire. If only you could use that in actual, like, applications. But unfortunately, you cannot. What you can do is go basically the same route to get to the top of the island. Take this same, I learned that these warp pipes are actually called shrinker pipes, which leads to an interesting thought. So if they are always called shrinker pipes, then does that mean that, so you hop into it and then Mario shrinks to make the island large, and then you hop into it again, and it's not actually making Mario larger again, it's shrinking the island so that from your perspective, you're large again. So Mario's really just getting infinitely smaller, ever closer to, you know, atomic size. It's really fascinating stuff, you know, scientific and such. Just like our massive Koopa friend here, I'm sure he's much of a scientist himself. Long time no see, wow, have you gotten fast? Have you been training on the sly, or is it the power of the stars? I've been feeling down about losing the last race. This is my home course. How about a rematch? The goal is in Windswept Valley. Ready? Sure. Okay, so I actually went ahead and practiced Tiny Huge Island because I wasn't entirely confident that I knew where each of the stars were, so I went through and did it previously, and I actually almost lost this race to Koopa the Quick. It was really embarrassing. It's a really short course. It's much shorter than the one in Bob-omb Battlefield that takes about a minute. All you've got to do is reach the very end of this bridge here, and there you go. It only takes about 25 seconds, and he is right behind me, so you can see that that might be a little bit tricky if you're not using long jumps or, you know, enhanced movement techniques, if you will. No way, you beat me, again! And I just spent my entire savings on these new Koopa Mach 1 sprint shoes. Here, I guess I have to hand over this star to the winner of the race. Congrats, Mario! Thank you very much, Koopa the Quick. We will be moving right on into star number 4 in Tiny Huge Island, right after I grab this one. Star number 4, 5 Itty Bitty Secrets, which we are once again entering the island with the smaller painting. As you can imagine, Itty Bitty Secrets are going to be needed to be found by a very, very large Mario. Now, I don't 100% remember exactly where all of these are, so this is going to be a bit of an interesting jaunt through Tiny Huge Island. I looked it up beforehand, and like I had mentioned in the previous star, I definitely did a practice run, so it shouldn't be too terribly difficult to get all of them. So we've got one right there with the iron ball spawner there. Let's not eat ourselves off the island. We actually accidentally fell into the other secret right by the bob-omb cannon there, and we can talk to him. You know, I might as well open the cannon while I'm here, right? If I can actually... Oh no! That fire is going to be very, very dangerous as soon as I'm done talking to this guy. Oh, well, there's no cutscene and it gave me a little bit of an invincibility while I was still talking to him, so that actually works out right in the end. Okay, this is some tricky platforming on the gigantic version of the island here, but thankfully, make it through very skillfully. I'm pretty happy with how that ended up working out. Oh no, 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 please, I would really rather not fall there again. We've got secret number 3 right in, at the end of that wooden platform there. A Koopa here, who I can only imagine is Koopa the Quick, so I'm sorry that we gotta do this to you, buddy, but I want that blue coin. Thank you very much. It is blue, and I would like to add it to my collection of coins. Thank you, thank you. We've got secret number 4. It's going to be at the very top of this mountain, if I can actually cross this walkway for once. The camera here is really, really goofy. I find that with the... In the same vein that the stages get a little bit more interesting as time goes on, I feel like they were trying to experiment more and more with the camera to varying degrees of success. As you can see here, the camera really likes to shift certain directions, like it's kind of assuming where it would be best place, almost taking inspiration, if you will, or not inspiration, but you would see later things like that in later games on the N64, like an Ocarina of Time, that has fixed camera angles for everything, where they, you know, figured this is where you're going to want your camera. It almost seems like they were trying to implement that here, but I feel like it works a lot less well in a platformer like 64. You know, you have to make some pretty precise movements occasionally, and having the camera try to force itself in a particular direction can be pretty unpleasant occasionally. We've got secret number 4 there, and then secret number 5 is just going to be a short jaunt right here. That's all 5 of the secrets. I remembered where they were better than I thought I would, and it was a little hard to tell where that star spawned. Where you're going to want to go is basically the route that I've been taking to get to the top of the mountain every time. The purple switch that makes the boxes appear just right over here, as you can see, is going to lead over to our power star. Let's see if I can do this very delicately. I actually failed getting over to the star once, and that was really unpleasant during my practice, so let's not do that today. As I had mentioned previously, this is star number 5, Wiggler's Red Coins. This is the only star that we're going to be entering the island through the very large painting, and you're going to be seeing why in just a moment. As usual, we're going to be mixing the red coins with the 100 coins. And the reason that we are starting the island small is that we start right next to these gigantic Goombas, and as you can see, if you do a ground pound on them instead of a regular jump, it will actually give you a blue coin instead of yellow coin. So 5 coins instead of 1 coin sounds like a pretty good return on investment to me. Got another post here, just like from bob-omb Battlefield. It's going to give us some coins. And yeah, last time that I actually did the 100 coins, when I was doing it during practice, I managed to do the entire thing as Small Mario. It actually ended up being quite a bit easier that way. Wow, I did not even know that you could kill that Lakitu, much less that he would drop 5 entire coins for doing so. That is pretty generous. The Tiny Huge Island 100 coin star actually ends up being pretty easy, I think, for that reason. You don't even have to enter the gigantic version of the island at any point, which is good because, as I had mentioned earlier, that makes it significantly easier to die in a lot of situations. Oh no, 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 I want that blue coin from the Koopa, but I cannot collect it while I'm on the shell, which is okay. That Koopa shell doesn't really have any use. It lets you surf over the water and I guess avoid Fishy Friend over there, but this area is very small, and as soon as you go up this ramp over here, you're basically back to the regular platforming challenge of the level, so it doesn't end up being entirely useful, unlike the other Koopa shells, which I think is unfortunate. I definitely would have liked if they had found more uses for those. The uses that they did find are really good examples of creativity with, you know, they thought up the item and were like, okay, what are the best ways that we can use this? Like, Lethal Lava Land is a fantastic example. But then you have this example here where it's like, wow, I can't even do anything with it. It's just kind of there for me. 2 more gigantic Goombas. Oh, ooh, let's not fall off the level. This is the Windswept Valley, after all. Could very easily blow us off. That guy's kind of hanging out at the very edge. No, I really want this blue coin. Makes my life a lot easier to get 5 coins. Let's just do this very delicately. Yeah, that'll work out, and then I can just take a short jaunt right through the wind. Mario's walking speed is able to counter the wind, though it is a little strong. And there we go. These iron balls are actually very deadly right here. I've had them knock me off the stage, so I'm going to be very careful to avoid them and not have that happen to me here. And as you can imagine, since we are doing this with the red coins, we only actually need to get 84 before we can finally move on to the location where we will be getting our red coins. We've got 5 more from the Chuckya, and it turns out that I was actually correct. These enemies are indeed named Chuckyas. I also had found the name of the enemies that have the little plates that launch you, but now that I'm actually thinking about it, I can't remember what those were called, which is a little unfortunate, but those are not Chuckyas. They have a different name. The Chuckyas are indeed the purple bob-omb looking dudes, and they are pretty easy to take out. Oh, as you can see, I accidentally did a regular stomp on that Goomba, and he gave me a regular coin instead of the blue one, which is a little unfortunate, but I think we can actually enter the area. Oh, well, it's going to put me at 85 anyhow, which is very convenient, but we can enter the final area where the red coins are, I believe, with 74 coins instead of 84, because there are indeed 2 blue coins in that area. So yeah, don't have to worry too much about it. So what you're supposed to do in order to get over to this area is use the cannon that I had opened up before, but if I do some crafty jumping, I can use my momentum to land on this flat portion here, and then I'm actually going to do my best to focus very delicately, because this is a really narrow walkway, and falling from here is going to represent, actually, since I opened the cannon up, it's not going to represent that much time retrying, but taking the time to do it delicately is worthwhile anyhow. Now that I've got 95 out of 100 coins, I certainly wouldn't want to die here. Gonna continue walking delicately because this is another very short pathway, and as we can see, we've got all of our red coins ripe for the picking in this area, so let's be very delicate about our platforming. Ooh, let's not do any of that business, go careening off the edge there. It'd be very dangerous. Trying to take this as carefully as possible. My palms are legitimately sweating. Got our 100 coin star right there. Just gotta manage to grab the red coins. Should be able to move on with no issue. Oh, okay. Just gotta breathe and try to do these in the order that I'm doing them here. Makes things a lot easier. And this jump freaked me out when I was doing my practice run, because I had already gotten the 100 coin star just like here, and I was like, well, I don't want to fail now. That would make things really obnoxious. This jump, I was totally overthinking it. I thought you needed to do a backflip into a wall jump, but as it turns out... Oh dear, okay. Oh, okay, I almost fell off the edge there. You can just do a regular jump into the wall, and you will be perfectly fine. I'm going to let that guy shoot fire, grab the red coin, and then immediately make my descent back over here. Okay. I'm seriously, my hands are so sweaty right now. I would hate to die in this room and need to redo all the progress, but all we've got are a few simple wall jumps, actually one wall jump to the final red coin, and the star that is our reward. Excellent, excellent. That was a messed up star cutscene. We've got but one more star in Tiny Huge Island. Star number 6, make Wiggler squirm.
Let's go.
So you might have seen / heard in the room where the red coins were, and even the name of the level was Wiggler's Red Coins, so it's not that big of a secret that there is indeed a wiggly boy in that room. So what we've got to do in order to be able to get to him is hopefully not get knocked off the stage by the iron balls. Wow, that was really close to careening myself off the edge there. So what you've got to do is climb up to the top of the mountain with the island Tiny, go all the way up to this water pit, do a ground pound right where this secret is, and it will drain the water, play the sound effect to let you know that you've solved some sort of puzzle element, hop back into the pipe, and we will be able to continue on with our objective. When I was younger and I had played this game, finding Wiggler was actually the very first thing that I did in this stage. I didn't even make it to the top of the island to collect that star. I had entered the island from the smaller painting. I was like, wow, I'm really huge and everything is tiny. Oh, I get it, Tiny Huge Island, haha, funny name. I had no idea this star was here, and the very first thing I did was ground pound up here just because it seemed like the natural thing to do, and if you drop on in, can meet with our wiggly boy. Unfortunately, the camera angle is doing him a disservice, but why? You flooded my house. Well, why? Look at this mess. What am I going to do now? The ceiling's ruined, the floor is soaked. What to do, what to do? Huff, huff, it makes me so mad. Everything's been going wrong ever since I got this star. It's so shiny, but it makes me feel strange. Boss battle music is going to kick in, and we've got a gigantic wiggly boy, because as you might have remembered, we jumped in the shrinker pipe before jumping in here, so we've got a big old wiggler. All you've got to do, though, is jump on his head. I can't take this anymore. First you get me all wet, then you stomp on me. Now I'm really, really, really mad! He gets a little bit faster after every successive hit, but it's a very extremely easy fight. All you have to do is jump on him, and as you can see here, if you don't actually land on the ground after a hit, you can delay the dialogue, which is kind of a fun little trick. Hey, knock it off. That's the second time you've nailed me. Now you're asking for it, linguini breath. Wow, that is a little rude to call Mario, but he's going to go top speed now. He's actually a little bit faster than Mario's walking speed, but again, all you have to do, bonk him on the head. And uncle, okay, I give, take this star. Ooh, I feel better now. I don't really need it anymore anyway. I can see the stars through my ceiling at night. They make me feel peaceful. Please come back and visit anytime. Aw, thanks, friendly Wiggler buddy. Sorry that we had to bop you on the head. But he's gonna shrink in size and reward us with the final power star for Tiny Huge Island, which we've done in a record time, much faster than the previous courses. I think the stars in Tiny Huge Island are generally easier, but I really do appreciate the concept of this course, having the 2 paintings that you can enter and the 2 different versions of it. Really, really, really neat. So that is 13 out of 15, which means, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and get us up to the final area, the final tier of the castle. We've got 105 power stars, 15 more to collect, and we will be completed with the game. I'm so excited. This is the star door that I had opened before to get to the last castle secret stars with Toad, and the one on the left here, I believe, is the secret star. Yeah, this is the final room. You need 50 stars to open this, so I would say that we are a little bit over the amount that we may have needed, but as you can imagine, this is going to be the room that contains our final 2 courses. I'm very excited to be taking those on with all of you folks. So I hope you will be joining me in part number 18 of Let's Play Super Mario 64, where we can take on course 14. I hope. My name is Ready Opco, and I hope to be seeing you then.